Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Om
Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Om Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskrityam
Narayanam Namaskrutyam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Tato Jayamudirayet
Tato Jayamudire
Nashtaprayasu Abhadresu
Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavati Uttama Sloke
Bhagavati Uttama Sloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki.
So reading from Bhagavad Gita chapter 7 titled Knowledge of the Absolute and verse number 28. Yashyam tva antagatam papam
Yesham Tvantagatam Papam
jananam punyakarmanam
Jananam Punyakarmanam
te dvanta moha nirmukta
Te Dvanda Moha Nirmukta
bhajante mam drudha vrata.
Bhajante
Te Mam Dradavrataha.
Yashyam tva antagatam papam
Yesham Tvantagatam Papam
jananam punyakarmanam
Jananam Punyakarmanam
te dvanda moha nirmuktam
Te Dvanda Moha Nirmukta
bhajante mam drudha vrata.
Jante Mam Dradavrataha.
Yashyam,
Yesham
whose,
Whose
to,
To
but,
But
antagatam,
Antagatam
completely eradicated,
completely eradicated
papam,
Papam
sin,
Sin
jananam,
Jananam
of the persons,
of the persons
punya,
Punya
pious,
Pious
karmanam,
Karmanam
whose previous activities,
Previous activities
they,
They
dvanda,
Dvandva
of duality,
of duality
moha,
Moha
delusion,
Delusion
nirmukta,
Nirmukta
free from,
Free from
bhajante,
Bhajante
engage in devotional service,
Engage in devotional service
mam,
Mam
to me,
to me
drudha vrata,
Dradavrataha
with determination.
with determination.
Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Persons who have
Persons who have
acted piously in
acted piously in
previous lives
previous lives
and in this life,
and in this life
and whose sinful actions
and whose sinful actions
are completely eradicated,
are completely eradicated,
are freed from
are freed from
the dualities of delusion,
dualities of delusion,
and they engage themselves
and they engage themselves
in my service
in my service
with determination.
with determination.
Yeah. So now that we just finished the translation, let's read the verse again. Anybody would like to read the verse again, please?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, go ahead.
Yesam tat antagatam papam.
Yesham
Yesham tva antagatam
antagatam
papam.
Jananam punna karmanam.
Jananam punya
punyakarmanam
karmana.
Te dandha moha nirmukta.
te
Dvanda
dvanda moha
moha
nirmukta
nirmukta.
Bhajante mam vidabrata.
bhajante
Bhajante
mam
mam drudha
dridhavrata
brata.
yesham tu atantagatam papam
Esham
Yesyam tva antagatam papam.
jananam punyakarmanam
Jananam punya karmanam.
te dvanda moha nirmukta
Te dvanda moha nirmukta.
bhajante mam dridhavrataha
Bhajante mam drudha brata. Anyone else?
Yesam tu antagatam papam
Yasyam tva antagatam papam.
jananam punya karmanam
jananam
Jananam punya karmana.
punyakarmanam
te dvanda moha nirmukta
te dvanda moha nirmukta
Nirmukta.
bhajante mam dृढ़ व्रताः
bhajante mam
Mam drudha
dridhavrataha
brata. Anybody else?
येषां त्व अन्तगतं
papam
Isam tva
yesham
antagatam
antagatam
papam.
papam
Esham
जनानां पुण्यकर्मणां
Jananam punya
punyakarmanam
karmanam.
वेद्वन्द्मोहनिर्मुक्ता
Te
dvanda
dvanda
moha
moha
nirmukta
nirmukta.
भजन्ते मां व्रतव्रताः
bhajante
Bhajante
mam
mam drudha brata.
dridhavrataha
Esam to antagatam papam.
Yesam tva antagatam papam.
Jananam punya karmanam.
jananam
Jananam punya
punyakarmanam
karmanam.
Te danda moha nimukta.
te
Te
dvanda
dvanda
moha
moha
nirmukta
nirmukta.
Bhajante mam dudhatam.
bhajante mam
Mam drudha brata.
dridhavrataha
So anyone else would like to read this page of the purport?
Yes, Prabhu.
those eligible for elevation to the transcendental position are mentioned in this verse. For those who are sinful, atheistic, foolish, and deceitful, it is very difficult to transcend the quality of desire and hate. Only those who have passed their lives in practicing the regulative principles of religion, who have acted piously, and who have conquered sinful reaction can accept devotional service and gradually rise to the pure knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then, gradually, they can meditate in trance on the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Anyone else would like to read this page?
Yes. That is the process of being situated on the spiritual platform. This elevation is possible in Krishna consciousness in the association of pure devotees. For in the association of great devotees, one can be delivered from delusion. It is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.2 that if one actually wants to be liberated, we must render service to the devotees. Mahat sevam
Varam
gabaram ahu
ahu
mukteho.
mukte.
But one who associates with materialistic people is on the path leading the darkest region of existence. Tamo davam yogitam sangi sangam.
Anyone else would like to read this page?
All these devotees of the Lord traverse this earth just to recover the conditioned soul from the delusion The impersonalists do not know that forgetting their constitutional position as subordinate to the Supreme Lord is the greatest violation of the God's law. Unless one is reinstated in his own constitutional position, it is not possible to understand the Supreme Personality or to be fully engaged in his transcendental loving service with determination.
So let's all chant the invocation pranam mantras. Om together. Om Agyana
Om
Timirandasya
Timirandasya
Jnananjana Shalakaya
Shalakaya
Chakshurmilitam Yena
चक्षुर्मिलितं येन
Shri Gurave
तस्मै
Namo
श्रीगुरवे नमः
Sri
Namaha
Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam
श्रीचैतन्य
Yena
मनोभीष्टं
Vistam
Swayangrupa
Tapitam Ena
Kadamayam
Bhutale
Dadati
Swayam Rupa
Swapadantikam
Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam
Vandeham Sri
Vandeham Sri
Guru Sri
Guru
Uttapatakamalam
Kamalam Sri
Sri
Guru
Guru Vaishnavamsha Sri Rupam
Rupam
Sagrajatam
Sagrajatam
Sagana Raghunatham
Samanita
Vitam Tam
Sri
Sajivam
Satanitancha
Sadvaitam
Sadhutam
Savadutam
Savadutam
Parijana
Harijan
Sahitam
Sahitam
Krishna
Krishna
Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Devam
Devam
Sri
Sri
Radha
Radha
Krishna
Krishna
Padam
Padam
Sahagana
Sahagadita
Lalita Sri
Savisakha
Visakha Vitamsha He
Hey
Krishna
Krishna
Karuna
Karuna
Sindhu Dina
Sindhu
Bandhu
Dina Bandhu
Jagatpate
Jagatpate
Gopesha
Gopesha
Gopika
Gopika
Kanta Radha
Radha
Kanta
Kanta
Namaste
Namostute
Tam
Tapta
Takanchana Gaurangi
Gaurangi
Radhe
Radhe
Vrindavaneshwari
Vrindavaneshwari
Vrishabhanusute
Vrishabhanusute
Devi
Devi
Pranamami Haripriye
Pranamami Haripriye
Vancha
Vancha
Kalpataruvascha Kripa
Kalpatarubhyascha
Sindhu Vacha
Sindhu Vacha
Patitanam
Patitanam
Pavanebhyo
Pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Namo
Namo
Namah.
Namah
Jai
Jai
Shri
Shri
Krishna
Krishna Jai
Chaitanya Prabhu
Chaitanya
Nityananda
Prabhu
Shri
Nityananda
Advaita Gadadhara
Dvaita Gadadhara
Shivash Adi Gaura
Sivasadi
Bhakta.
Gaur Bhakta Vrinda
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Hare Hare
Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Hare
Rama
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 Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama
Hare.
Rama Hare
So
Hare.
thank you so much for joining this wonderful Saturday evening Bhagavad Gita discussion, and where we are discussing the top 108 verses. So this is a beautiful verse again, which is one of the nectars. And as Krishna is explaining to Arjuna, this two or three things which is so critical out here. He is mentioning about Jananam Purnya Karmana, and then he is explaining about Dvanda Moha Nirmukta. So whenever we take a birth, and by virtue of our pious credits, we advance. Like say, for example, somebody is taking birth, and you'll see that he is born with beautiful intelligence. He is born with a lot of luster, and he or she is born with a lot of qualities. You know, some of the kids who are born, they're chess experts. You might have seen them. They're born with, so they have, based on the Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, we have learned so far that there is an element of prarabdha karma based on the karmic reactions. And that is why when you're born as a human being, you are highly situated because you can understand the difference between the right and wrong, the constitutional position of yours, and how the constitutional position of yours is related to where you have come from in terms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who says he is, he says, Aham Bija Pradaprita. That means he is the seed giving father of everyone. Krishna in Bhagavad Gita is explaining. And also Krishna is explaining Aham Sarvascha Prabhu. That means everything comes from me. So only a human being can understand the constitutional position of the person and how it's related to the Supreme, who we are, who is the Supreme, and what is the relationship between the Supreme. No other species in this world can understand the difference. So, by virtue of your prior good credits, you have become a human being. And if you think this life is one life you have got and you can make a mess out of it, then what we have learned from Bhagavad Gita, that there are transmigration of soul, and you take the body or go back to Godhead depending on how you deal with your karma. So here Lord Krishna is explaining about Purnya Karma. That means by virtue of repeated Purnya Karma, you have become a human being, person who have acted piously in previous lives. That means because of the Purnya Karma in the prior lives, in this life, whose sinful actions are completely eradicated by virtue of the cleansing process, by virtue, like whenever you have a, a vessel and it's having dirt, in order to get the luster, you constantly clean it, clean it, clean it, and then it becomes shining. So, because of constant cleansing of the process of bhakti we have been discussing for so many days and months, all these things get eradicated and become free from what? We become free from Dvanda Moha Nirmukta. Nirmukta is free from. Nirmukta is free from. Dvanda is a very commonly used word in Hindi and various different languages. It means duality. Sometimes we do not know whether to take this exit or the next exit. Dvanda. And moha, we are often deluded. We think that whatever we're eating, the sugar syrup we're eating, is very tasty. But behind the scene, because we're deluded, we think that it's very good and it's very tasty, but behind the scene, it gives us diabetics. So, Dvanda Moha Nirmukta. So, Prabhupada is explaining so beautifully that are free from the dualities and delusion, and they engage themselves in my service with determination. So, Krishna is using this beautiful word, bhajantema drudha vrata. Drudha means determination. So, this verse is so beautiful. First, it is explaining that we have taken birth before. By virtue of our karmic reaction, we may go back to Godhead or we may come back. So don't waste our. So that's the first thing Krishna is saying. Don't waste this precious life. And then after doing this, we have become slaves of the illusion and delusion. We have, we don't know where to go. And when we constantly get rid of the delusion, illusion, and duality in our lives, then we are determined, Drudha we are determined in doing devotional service. So what a beautiful verse to discuss this. And and in this verse, it actually opens up our eyes that we have work to do in this life. We have got this life after too much of hard work. And you might have seen that someone, once he goes to a very good school, when he comes to a higher school, he has to take some extra credits. Whenever he goes to a lower school, some of the credits are waived. Exactly like that, our prior karmic reaction gets us to a position where we go up or down. And this gives us a path to how determined we are in cleansing process, not get carried away by someone who tells you, ye ek zindagi maza loot lo. That's a very common thing you hear all the time from friends because they have not understood. To be fair to them, they haven't read these verses. You're very fortunate to be discussing this among the presence of so many devotees who have been focused on understanding these critical verses which has come from the lotus mouth of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this is a position of Arjuna who was confused, and Arjuna was in duality in terms of Dvanda and Moha. He had Moha for Vishmadev, he had Moha not to kill Dronacharya, who is his teacher, and how Krishna is explaining the beautiful aspect of doing devotional service. So, and as you have read some beautiful purports of Srila Prabhupada, where Srila Prabhupada is explaining about how a person in Krishna consciousness gets rid gets rid of sinful activities, being and atheists, do not believe, being surrendered to the Lord, and they are they're foolish. Krishna has used the word mudha many times in Bhagavad Gita, and are deceitful because they are not simple, they're very complicated. So it's a very, very easy process. It's actually a very easy process for simpleton people. Just chant the holy name, get regulated. That's all you have to do. But human being is not complex, not simple. That's the reason why this keeps coming back and again. So let's try to understand words by words what Krishna is saying. He's talking about karmana. That means who has acted piously in previous lives. And we have got this life of human being. We must have done something well. If we have done something well in the prior life, why mess it up by going south? It's a very good opportunity we have got in this age of Kali, in the age of quarrel and hypocrisy. Hare Hare Nama hi
Hmm.
kevalam, kalau
Hmm.
naste gati annatha. And then Krishna mentions antagatam. That means whose sinful actions are completely eradicated. Is anta. That means completely eradicated. That's why we are here today, because we may have born to a different species or whatever it may be, which we do not remember because we are very forgetful, but Krishna is not. And he remembers who we are. And that's why he's explaining that it has been completely eradicated. And here in this life, Dvanda Moha Mukta. That means we have tried to free from the dualities of delusion. Whenever there is delusion, we always have duality in our life. In every aspect of life, we have duality. The politics angle gets you the duality. They will try to answer based on the dual aspect of what the person is asking. It's very complicated life in this age of Kali. Dualities are there everywhere, in the families, in the organizations, in the little organizations you may be part of it. There are dualities all the time. And it's not surprising because we are in the age of quarrel and hypocrisy. We are in this age of Kali. So it's not surprising. And then Krishna is mentioning about bhajante mam drudhavata. That means who have got rid of these dualities, who have got rid of these dualities of delusion, bhajante mam drudhavata. They engage themselves in my service with determination, drudha. In terms of there is nobody can really shake them up. The people who are determined in Krishna consciousness, they're so much determined. Look at Srila Prabhupada. He he could have come in a flight. He didn't had money. He came in a freight ship. He came in a ship where all the think about Srila Prabhupada, 50, 60, 50, 51 years ago, when he came in a freight ship. And today, whenever we have these big containers where our Apna Bazaar, Parle Biscuit or Sabji Mandi pickles come, in those freight ship, Srila Prabhupada came very sad. But Srila Prabhupada had the determination, Drudha determination, because Krishna consciousness is so intoxicating that the real material intoxicants look pale when it comes to choosing between that. And that is what we now cannot have patience to go from A to B in a day. We choose to have non-stop flights. But Srila Prabhupada took around a month to come by freight. That is, if that is not determination, I don't think there is anything else which can be more defining as determination. So, so we'll try to talk a little bit about dualities of delusion. We'll give an example so that you can take it away and understand this concept very nicely based on the scriptures. And also, we'll also talk about serve with determination as to how we have to serve with determination. So as you can see here, it's a beautiful pastime. Here you have Vamanadev, so beautiful, so effulgence. You see this Vamanadev, so beautiful. Everybody is looking so closely, Vamanadev. And here is Bali Maharaj. Bali Maharaj is the grandson of Prahlad Maharaj. You've heard of Prahlad Maharaj, Hiranyakashipu Nrsingadev pastime. It's a wonderful pastime. Lord, last time we talked about how Lord can come out from anywhere, anytime, and he came out of a pillar to really take care of the honor or take care of the mistreatment given to Prahlad Maharaj, who is the grandfather of Bali Maharaj, here, right here. And then you have, and there is a personality we are going to talk about. That personality is this person, the Mataji, who is behind Vamanadev, and her name is Ratnamala, and she is the sister of Bali Maharaj. We're going to talk about duality and delusion. Okay, so we'll focus on this pastime, and we will try to analyze this aspect of the verse based on this pastime. So when Vamanadev appeared, Ratnamala, the sister of Bali Maharaj, was filled with affection, filled with love, filled with motherly affection. And when the pastime of 3 paces of land being asked to Bali Maharaj, when he saw that his brother is going to go away because the 2 paces of the land of Bali Maharaj of Vamanadev is enough to get Bali Maharaj on to the roads. He's pretty much surrendered because Bali Maharaj has nothing to give after 2 paces of the land has been taken away by Vamanadev. And when Sister Ratnamala is seeing this happening to his brother and he is about to be sent to Sutala Lok, this Ratnamala, who wanted to have this affection of motherly treatment from Vamanadev, the desire turned to, oh, he's so beautiful. Can I become a mother of this? Can I feed her? And then that thought turned to, can I kill her, kill him? Because he is giving so much of problem to my brother. So that thought process of being a mother, giving breastfeed milk to this little kid came into the mind of Ratnamala, and that turned to killing the kid because the kid is going to take away everything from his brother as the 3 paces of the land is turning up. So, in this duality, in this delusion, Ratnamala had that feeling expressed to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhamanadev. And what happened? Bhamanadev said, yes, you have that thought process in your mind. I'm going to fulfill you. And eventually, Ratnamala in her subsequent life became Putana. When Putana came to treat Krishna as a mother, give Krishna her breast milk with an intent to kill, and then Krishna liberated Putana by sucking the life from Putana. So, what a verse and what a pastime to connect. The ability to delusion, how we should be so fixated in our determination to do service. Our determination to do service should be in the favorable manner. Here, Ratnamala, as you saw, it's mentioned in the Brahma Vaivarta Purana that Putana had been Ratnamala in her previous life, the younger sister of Bali Maharaj. When Lord Vamana came into the assembly of Bali Maharaj's palace, everyone was astonished by the 5-year-old brahmachari boy. She was looking like the epitome of gentleness and sweetness, in his deer skin with a belt of straw and an effulgence even brighter than sun. As you can see, Vamanadev is so beautiful, so effulgent. When Ratnamala saw this beautiful little boy, she became overwhelmed with maternal feelings towards him. Understanding her desire, the Lord spoke to her, giving her the benediction that in her next life she would be able to suckle her just like a mother. Putana, in her previous life, however, shortly after this, Lord Bhamanadev took the whole universe from Bali, and Ratnamala's mood of attraction for the Lord changed into one of hatred. Within her mind, she thought, perhaps I'll have you as my son, and breastfeed you. And if I do, I will then kill you. Lord said, Tathastu. That happened. And this is where we should not be shattered in our aspect of doing devotional service. We should not be shaky in our mindset. And that is exactly what Krishna is explaining in Bhagavad Gita in this beautiful verse. Every verse has an inherent message, has an inherent powerful message for us to take. And here, as you can see, Ratnamala was respectfully given the opportunity to be liberated by taking birth in Putana and getting final liberation from Krishna. And then Lord Krishna is talking about engage in service with determination. So as you can see in this picture, Bali Maharaj in two pieces of land have taken Bali Maharaj's everything. Bali Maharaj is pretty much a prisoner on Vamanadev. And in the third piece of land, as you can see in the other picture, Bali Maharaj is sent to Sutalok. And so at that time, Sukracharya, Bali Maharaj's guru, was saying, don't accept this person's demands. This person, this kid is going to take everything away. He knew that this person is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and he will take everything away. But Bali Maharaj was determined in serving the Lord. He was the grandson of Prahlad Maharaj, and he had all the reasons to be thoughtful of his paternal, grandpaternal hierarchy and respect that. And Bali Maharaj was a very charitable king. So he accepted, he was determined in serving the Lord. When the third step came, he was moved to Sutalalok. And then Bali Maharaj was determined in his devotional service. And Vamanadev accepted the determined devotional service from Bali Maharaj. And he eventually, as a reciprocation, as a protection to his greatest devotee, Bali Maharaj, he became the gatekeeper of Sutalalok when this happens. So, what Krishna is saying, if you take Krishna's views, Krishna's thoughts, Krishna's directions, Krishna's instructions to your heart and are determined, you will be rewarded with reciprocation from the Supreme Lord, as we can see in this beautiful verse. And Lord knows what is good for us. Sometimes we do not know what is good for us. And that is when Lord gives us the best and nothing but the best, because we don't know what is best for us. So, wonderful verse to take away. Um, it's not about how long we can go on with this verse. It's about the message we carry from this verse. After repeated birth and death, we have got this beautiful, um, beautiful life of human being, and we are doing. We have done some pious credits by virtue of which we are here. Let's not kill it with Dvanda Moha, and let's be determined in devotional service. And if we can take this to our heart and become determined in doing devotional service, then we will realize that we have understood this verse properly and we have taken this verse and applied this verse to our lives. So, with that, I'd like to end here. Any question, comments, or reflections?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare
Because
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much.
Uh,
Bully Prabhu.
this was very outstanding, class today. Actually, very well, powerful message. Prabhuji, I just wanted to ask you one question. I mean, uh, we are especially when we are not so mature in terms of no, we are not so progressed like a very sincere devotee, struggling, but we know this fact that okay, I mean whatever Krishna will do, so there is a bigger plan, okay, but sometimes we reach to kind of Prabhu, Hare Krishna Prabhu, can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji, I can hear
Yeah.
you.
So, but sometimes we reach to a kind of a crossroad where, I mean, it could be a materialistic, it could be related to material things. But if we have to see that we have to take any decision, but we want to put a spiritual flavor and we have to decide either to go in A or B, then how we will decide what should be our, you know, bhav. So in terms of Krishna consciousness, that we should think, okay, I should choose route A, or I should choose route B. So how that we will take a decision. I'm not talking about anything related to job or something. So anything, because as a human being, we will reach out to many times. We will reach out to a kind of a crossroad where we have to take a call, and we are trying, our devotion towards, we are just a little bit, we are progressing in Krishna consciousness. But we know that, okay, any route we will take, there will be a consequence. Okay, but how I will know that, okay, this is what Krishna wants, this is the route I should pick? Because obviously we are not at that level like Arjuna, that we will get, a direct, some any direct information from the Lord. But yeah, through the devotees like you, we get directed. But I need some, more input from this angle, Prabhu.
Yeah, yeah. So very nice question. This happens to all the people. Prabhuji, you are not alone. This happens to all of us also. There are very many challenges in our lives, because that's why this is dukkhala ashostakam. That is, it is temporary and it's measurable. Every time, whether you make a bank transaction, whether you make a job decision, or whether even spiritual life also, there are decisions made which can upset you. But we have to understand that we all are conditional. Yesterday, we were discussing about Bhakti Charu Maharaj's appearance day. His Vyas Puja was there yesterday. And Bhakti Charu Maharaj mentioned, in terms of the four regulative principles, his fifth regulative principle he gives, assigns everyone to take a vow, is never ever leave ISKCON. See, whenever a person is not happy with certain things, because his upbringing is different, his thought process is different, he may not like a lot of things, which majority of the people may think it is very common. One such example I'll give: when Srila Prabhupada was there were a lot of uh, Western devotees who were in Krishna consciousness, and at that time, the people or the devotees who were serving the lordships were actually staying in the temple. But now, as ISKCON has grown and ISKCON's reach has grown, that has changed actually. And because of that change, there has been a lot of challenges. Whenever you are doing some service, whenever you're not getting parking, for example, whenever you are not getting this or that, there are challenges. But and sometimes it may not be likable, because there is a devotee. He wanted a shoe stand in the temple, because that's how he has been brought up, and he has seen that shoe stand in other temples. So all I'm saying, Prabhuji, is there are various different aspects, but at no instant we should make a decision which will make our path away from Krishna consciousness. Then actually we have lost a bigger problem. So say, for example, whatever decisions you want to take, but that should not eventually end up in an unfavorable manner in our life of Krishna consciousness. Even if you have to accept some unacceptable decisions in a temple's management thing. But sometimes what happens is, in a non-temple setting, I have seen people who leave the society because for them they can find a better society. But in a Krishna conscious society, trust me, there is no other. But Krishna conscious society is not perfect, because it's not managed by Krishna. So the point here, Prabhuji, is your decisions should be in such a way that you're not really going away from Krishna, or going away from the services of Krishna, whether or going away from the beautiful multidimensional aspects which gives you bliss in the form of Rath Yatra, in the form of Janmashtami. So your decision making has to do with how the outcome has to dovetail, even if it is a matter of accepting. Don't see in our families, in our day-to-day lives, with our kids, we do several compromises. It's not as if you know you can say anything and it really runs well with the family in the form of your spouse or your kids. Every day you have to make compromises, which are good things, that makes you a better person. But similarly, in a temple setting, there will be more compromises because they're not from this family. But at the end of the day, these transcendental discussions we are going through in the form of Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, it is so classic. It is so class that if at the end of the day our decision takes us away from Krishna, it probably is not the right decision. Does that help, Prabhu?
Awesome, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Krishna. Thank you so much. Any other question or comments? So tomorrow is actually a Bhadra Purnima celebration, but day after tomorrow is the real Bhadra Purnima, the day on which Srimad Bhagavatam was started to be written, and you might have seen the flyers. So Srimad Bhagavatam, these are concepts in Bhagavad Gita, the concepts which have been put forth by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to his greatest devotee, Arjuna. But these principles, see, yesterday we were also discussing this. There is principle, but whenever there is relationship, whenever there is love, that is in details. That is not in the principle. So Srimad Bhagavatam is even more exciting when it is discussed with devotees. So Srimad Bhagavatam was born around Bhadra Purnima. So we encourage everybody to take home Srimad Bhagavatam. It's there in our temple. You can connect with me if you want a copy. If you do not want a copy and you want to read, we have the morning Katha at 6:30 a.m. every day. Srimad Bhagavatam is actually even more nectarian. I'm not saying Bhagavad Gita is not. I'm saying Bhagavad Gita is based on principles, and Srimad Bhagavatam is on the details. And then Chaitanya Charitamrita is even closer in finer details. So that's Bhadra Purnima, and we encourage everyone to join. So is there any other question or comments, Prabhu, before we close? Govil Mataji and Prajapati Prabhu, everything all right with you?
Yes, Prabhuji. All right.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And Priti Mataji, everything all right?
Yes, Prabhuji. Sorry, I'm taking the call while driving. So yeah,
No,
that's why I couldn't participate.
no problem, Mataji. Thank you so much. And
Thanks
let's,
for the contribution.
okay, all good, Shila Prabhupada.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, Mataji. Yeah, okay. So let's also welcome Pradeep Prabhu. Pradeep Prabhu, you went to India. Did you go to Jagannath Puri Dham?
No, Prabhuji, I did not go because it was closed. And in the last week of my vacation, it opened last couple of days, 3 days actually. So I could not go this time.
Okay. And Prabhuji, did you go to Lingaraj temple in Bhubaneswar?
No, I didn't go anywhere.
Yeah. But you went to Bhubaneswar. Actually, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Puri, he went through Bhubaneswar, and Gaur Govind Maharaj refers that Bhubaneswar is actually Lingaraj temple being in Bhubaneswar. It's a protector of the entry into Jagannath Puri. So you have come back from Bhubaneswar. So let's welcome you with loud Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Hari
Hari Bol.
Hare Bol.
So let's end here by paying obeisances, respectful obeisances to all the Vaishnavas. Vancha kalpataru vasha kripa sindhu vaevacha
Patitanam
patitanam
pavanebhyo
pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
vaishnavebhyo
namo
namo
namah.
namah. Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai,
Jai
Bhagavad Gita ki jai,
Jai
Srila Prabhupada ki jai,
Jai.
Gaurav Vrinda ki
Hare
jai.
Krishna. Hari Bol.
Sorry.